Let's do this. All right, we're live. Treadmill's up. Treadmill's running. We're actually getting this done a little bit earlier today. So right now we are at like 2.5 miles an hour. I'm gonna build myself up to about like 3.5, and we're gonna let people pile in. We got like 50 centimeters of snow. Holy shit! Hang on 1 second. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I gotta reach this in a second. Mighty Miggy, what up? Like I said, these treadmill streams, it's more so me getting cardio. So like, we will end up just shooting the shit. We got like 50 centimeters of snow. We have almost 3 feet of snow right now in Canada. So audio's quiet. Shit. Okay, fine. Jay, how's my audio now? Probably a little better, I think. Maybe I'll even turn it up a little bit more. Let me see if I do that. If I go up a little bit more, that definitely probably, oh, that's probably high enough. That's way too high now. That probably sounds better. Mac, what up? Mac's coming in from the Discord. We're going to talk about Discord today too, as well as traveling with camera gear. Audio's quiet. Okay, so audio should be good now. Everyone check in. Let me make sure the audio is good. We'll get a little sound check in here. We already started off with a super chat by Mac Chaudhry, 1999. Didn't say anything this time though, but respects, Mac. Mac's also in my my channel Discord, and we're going to talk about Discord today. I want to talk a little bit about like traveling with gear. We talked about AI a little bit much over the last couple of days. I was on Talbot's stream just a little while ago. I was on Cam's stream a couple of days ago, and then obviously I had my own. So, Cog Mission, what's going on, boss? Cog was on Talbot's stream. Yeah, Mac's the rich uncle, bro. But I think one day, if there's any way I can get it back on the man Mac Chaudhry for all the super chats, I will find a way to do so. Jason, what's it like not having any snow right now? Like right now, we just got an advisory from the government that we're going to get 50 centimeters, which is about 25 inches, which is like just over 2 feet. And even trying to get my car out to go to the gym might not be feasible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get 2 hours of cardio a day. Just a drive-by. Hey, that's my favorite kind of drive-by. I got $20. I showed you on IG 1 terabyte from yesterday's shoot. Yeah, Mickey, you were shooting on the ZR. We had a heat wave, 45 Celsius. That's crazy. I kind of miss being in Ghana now because like when I left, it was like 37 to 39, but it was a dry heat, so it wasn't that bad. But 45 is ridiculous. In Miami, it's 80 Fahrenheit. That's actually not bad. That's like perfect, like good weather. That's not too hot. Definitely not cold. Like that's kind of like you have a t-shirt and like light pants in the day, and like maybe a long sleeve at night. But also, I'm gonna check in with the chat because I know a lot of you guys said you're interested in the treadmill lifestyle. All 10 of you. How many of you guys have purchased one of these guys for 2026? But also, and I'll talk about it when more people kind of pile in. But I want to talk about like channel Discords, building a little bit more community on the channel without necessarily making more content, because I feel like that's not necessarily what I mean by building a community. Some of you guys are already in it, but I have a channel Discord. I'll put the link in the description of this video. But the topic of like sponsors, owning your audience and stuff came up a little bit, as well as obviously traveling with gear. And I want to figure some stuff out. Also, okay, so that fell off. That's fine. So my standing desk gets in the way of some of the prints that are right behind things. And one of them just fell off. And the other one looks like it's about to fall in a couple seconds. So if you hear a crash, don't be alarmed, but you might see that in a little bit. We got one like. We have a full 10 people on the stream. People are probably sick of hearing from my ass. But that doesn't mean anything because the show still goes on. But today we're getting cardio in. Actually, when we get to like 30 viewers, what I'll do is I want to pop up on can I do it on here? Does it let me do it? That's dumb. No worries, Tim. I'm trying to figure out if I can get the screen sharing going on here. Not necessarily, that's not the window that I want. New show scenes window. Yeah, I don't know how to necessarily get that out of there. But what I'll do is I want to do a screen share of some Black Magic stuff. Because speaking of the Ursa Cine 12K, I have a bunch of stuff that I shot with the Jamestown boxing squad out in Accra, and I want to go over some color grading stuff. Let me see if I can do that. Let me see here. Primary, Ecamm Live. Oh yeah, that'll work. Let me just... Oh, that's probably... Oh yeah, okay, that'll work. That'll work. That works well. But yeah, so I got some stuff. This is from some of the stuff that we caught. And like... Yeah, there you go. Move. Color and everything looks great, but I think we'll talk about that a little bit later in the stream. Once, like, once a couple more people pile in, you know what I'm saying? Like, once a few more people get into the stream, I want to talk about some of the Black Magic footage. I'm the one like, by the way. Hey, there's 3 more. Don't worry. Wait, Mercy was shot on the Ursa Cine 12K. Well, I know movement now. I want to check it out. I didn't know that. Hang on a second. Ironic, though, that it's shot on the 12K when Black Magic has a 17K. Let me check that out. Hang on a second. What? $60 footage. Was filmed. It was showing me what it was filmed for, but it doesn't show me. It doesn't tell me what camera it's on. It just says IMAX camera. It doesn't tell me anything else. Hello, fellow icicles. Yeah, man. It's Greg. How's it going on where you're at right now? Because right now there's so much snow that I can't even get out and shovel right now. And I'm probably not going to tomorrow morning, which means I also have my morning cut out for me. Tech specs and IMDb. I don't know. Is Mercy on IMDb yet? It is. Let me take a look. Videos, writers, stars. I don't have the paid version of. Tech specs. Yeah, Black Magic Ursa Cine 12K with the tribe. Oh, all right, cool. You just gave me another idea. You just gave me an idea for a video. The Black Magic Ursa Cine 12K, Tribe 7 Black Wings, 7 lenses. Okay. Thank you for that. You just gave me. Y'all just gave me a good video. Just give me a good idea for a video coming out next month. How do you feel about that Fuji camera? I love it. The GFX 102 camera was excellent. I can't afford it, so that was a loaner. But like, if I find a way how to afford getting a 100 Mark II, I'm gonna pick that guy up 100%. I think the hard part is, like, the only way I think I might be able to justify it is selling my 50R, and I don't want to do that. And that's just kind of where I'm at with it. Did you have to pay any fees to bring your game to Ghana? No. What's also nice about that is that, like, for all intents and purposes, man, like I have my permanent residence in Ghana. I got my Ghana card a little while ago, and I don't know if that impacts bringing gear in, but no one really asked. I wasn't going there for work, so I didn't really have any problems. Hey, just curious how everyone's experience with the Nikon ZR has been. Mine's been pretty positive. I think once you can accept and move around the file sizes, I think it's pretty solid. Be right back. Subliminal message. Press like. That's funny. I'll give a syllable as fun supposedly far. Yeah, far enough the family tree. That's funny. Gotta go. Hey, Tim, take care, man. Any moments you were there where you wish you had Sony autofocus? No, not at all. I don't think I really, honestly, because I was shooting on the Typox Samara C's or the Blazar Remuses for most of the trip, I didn't really have autofocus. So there wasn't times where I was like, oh shoot, like I wish I had this thing. No. It's weird. It's like the and it's I don't know. Maybe it's because a lot of the things I was shooting, I shot like knowing I was gonna do it. Mind you, it was impromptu. Like there was times where I'm like, I got up one morning and someone's like, "Hey, come shoot this boxing thing," and I'm like, "Bet." I knew what I was gonna shoot, so I didn't necessarily be like, "Oh man, I really wish I had autofocus." But I feel like as time goes on, like I care about autofocus a little bit less. If it was for like a job, I feel like I'd care more. But because it's like for my personal stuff, when I have personal stuff, like I care more about like what I like about image, what I like about what camera I want to use or whatever. And I like that. I like that a lot because in that way, I'm not bringing in tools because I'm like I have to in a way. I'm bringing them in because I'm interested, which is for me personally, creatively, like that's the best position to be in. Maybe we got so once we got 30, we go over some color grading stuff. I want to talk about shooting color or grading in color and in black and white, and my kind of complicated node tree. This looks a little bit wild, but also pretty simple. Like the Pyxis 12K actually gets a really good image right out of camera, and I've been toying with the idea, but I'm also going to commit to not doing it. So we're half and half about the idea of like instead of having an Ursa Cine 12K and a Pyxis 12K, just having two Pyxis 12Ks. But I don't want to start buying and selling cameras. It makes me sad. Do you happen to know if the Nikon ZR is water weatherproof resistant? Oh no, it's not waterproof. Might have a little bit of weather sealing depending on the lenses you're using. Saw a video using a heavy rain. Yeah, it's probably resistant, but wouldn't say proof. So, do you have any thoughts about the oversaleization of modern lenses versus character older lenses? Yes. Maybe the 10%. No, not really, Donovan. Because like more modern lenses coming out is probably a need of the market, and it doesn't mean the lenses that have more character don't exist anymore. And like lenses with more character still come out all the time. For example, like I don't know, like the Cook SB3s. I heard Chiopt has a little bit of sauce to it. Like I have Typox. Blazar has a little quirkiness, has a lot of quirkiness to it. So I think there's still room for them, but I think as much as like the artisan that wants all of these like weird quirks and stuff with lenses, like the mass people that like buy the stuff probably don't care. And totally valid because the company's gonna build things based on the market. Toronto School Bar has canceled school for tomorrow already. My son is hoping his exam will be delayed out there. We never had closed schools. I've had school day. I've had snow days. Not many. But then again, like some of the snow's been like ridiculous to the point where it might be dangerous to send like young kids to school. Like I wouldn't send like my second grader in 2 feet of snow. Especially with like how bad drivers are in Toronto. It's not even so much as like, oh, they'll get lost in the snow, but it's more of like, oh, a car that doesn't know their head from their elbow gonna lose control in the snow because they didn't put tires on and then hit my kid. But I don't have kids, so you know my perspective is a little bit skewed. We're 8 people away from doing some Pyxis 12K grading. I also want to like try to figure out the black and white side of things because like, hang on a second, what I actually make this node for? Okay, that's what I made it for. And like these are very simple nodes. What I got in here? Got my color space transform, HDR, yes, and then I also have my RE log C LUT in here. Are you gonna grade in 12K? I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. These are all in 12K because I forgot to switch it to 8, so I am gonna grade in 12K. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. I plan to use a Blazar Talon when it comes out. Just trade my 85 Sigma art lens for a Batis 85 Sony full frame. Yeah, I want to try to get my hands on the Talon when it comes out. Like, I know being a creator, everyone's like, oh, like you'll just get your hands on one. I'm like, I got to buy that just like you guys, which it's humbling, and I'm fine with it. But I think if they get a good autofocus L mount version, I'll be all over that. All the snow looks majestic. Went to a store today at 1 p.m. and we were the first customer. What's good? Hey, what's going on, Edmund? Came back from Ghana actually exactly a week ago today. And I wish I was back. So, but also, I got to get my cardio in. And I am going to reiterate the nature of these particular streams, the treadmill stream, is such that I don't care who shows up. I'm going to show up. And I'm not going to get off this treadmill until we hit at least 10,000 steps, which, I mean, we're at 2,100, so I got about 8,000 more. And it's an easy way to have time go by, easy way to shoot the shit. You know, I find that the super fans are the real ones come into the streams. So it's a cool way to connect with everybody. But also, we were talking earlier. Sorry, I'm just leaning on this because it's easier. We're talking earlier about the new film Mercy was shot on the Ursa Cine 12K, which, you know, I'm gonna make some content. You know what? I'm gonna hold on to my camera a little bit longer now, because every time I'm a good, well-known Hollywood movie, and I'm not sure how Mercy's doing right now, to be honest with you, but every time a good film comes out and it's shot on a particular camera, everybody in the realm's like, oh shit, I gotta use that thing. So, you know, let me just have some fun. It is weird they didn't use a 17K if it was an IMAX camera, though. We're almost there. We're 8 people away. Once we hit 30, also because like I just generally have questions about shooting in black and white. Like, show you what I mean here. It's DaVinci Resolve. Let me just open that guy up. GTA virus are sacrilegiously bad. Yeah, man, they're terrible. You ever try to drive in Brampton? It's awful. So this is what a little node tree looks like right now. I got to put the comment section down here. Maybe just have this on the side over here. I'll just start this. Yeah, it's only 19 people. Don't care. I'll start it. Hang on 1 second. So that's pretty much what our clip looks like to start. If I could just make this like a little bit, like a wee smaller. And I really hope I don't forget these settings, but I probably will. We're going to reset things into here. And I'm just going to run you through kind of what I do when I'm grading some of this footage. Blackmagic footage is really easy to grade, but also I'm trying to dabble a little bit with black and white. And basically, I noticed that one thing I'm going to start with here is I'm going to do my color space transform, which I believe I put right about here. Color space, I turn that guy on. That's actually set to RE log C because I have a LUT for RE log C that I made when Lumix and RE did their little collab. So that kind of gives me a nice real starting point. Color looks really good. And like, again, the color science out of the Pyxis 12K looks really nice, especially on skin tone. So it's super easy to get things to look good right away. But I still got to put like an ingest color space here as well. So I have that, and that's going to go to DaVinci Resolve Intermediate. If you guys don't know, that's a pretty wide color space. You could push and pull things with it you want to. And then I put things into RE log C. Honestly, you don't need to do this step. I just do it because I have an RE log C LUT, and it's easier for me to just have it do it this way than make multiple LUTs from multiple different log curves. And then I have my HDR here, and this HDR is mostly for exposure. I like using this a lot, so I'm going to just kind of go into here. Where is it here? And what I like about the HDR part of it is that like certain parts of the exposure, especially when you have cameras with like a ton of dynamic range, like the Pyxis 12K has just shy of the RELX Mini LF. I could pinpoint like different maps of exposure clicking this little sun button in order to dial certain things in. So like if I want to bring the shadows up, and I did onto here, because this guy's a little bit underexposed, like I could bring this up quite a bit. Now the hard part with that is that some of that information is actually lost or just kind of washes out a little bit. So I'm going to leave it that way. And if I wanted to bring stuff in that window back, you can see the little map when I leave that on. Like I could pull that stuff back if I want more details out of that, which is kind of cool. And then let me go to my raw tab over here. And this overall is just a little bit underexposed. I can bring this up by like a stop and get away with it. I'm shooting at 12K, so I can make a node for like noise reduction and stuff. And that looks a little bit better for exposure for me. But also I could change things like, I don't know, my blacks look a little bit lifted. So I could go down into here, take my black level, take a little bit, like, and I could dance this around in the raw tab in order to get to where I want. But I'm actually trying to get closer to getting this ready for black and white, which I haven't quite perfected yet, but I'm working on it. And then onto here, this is a lens distortion node. And the reason why I have this, I'm just gonna move my light. That beeping noise is probably my treadmill, to be honest. It's just the treadmill going in the background. And so this guy is a lens distortion node. So on the, what's it called? On the Blazar Remus, there's like a ton of distortion that happens around the edges that sometimes I'm not a huge fan of. So what I'll do is I'll go to this guy and I'll try to correct for it. And you get just about into here. And you can do like fine adjustments if you want to. But it's just so you correct some of that little slimming effect that's into there. And you could overdo this definitely, but that has it looking kind of normal. And then I will add in this type of node here. I'll do this. So I'll turn on my glow node. And basically what I'll do here is it kind of adds a little bit of halation, but it also brings down some of the really overexposed parts for me. And that's just by going to here. This is by default is going to be in normal. I'll put it on soft light. And like when it's all the way up, it'll make your image darker, but a little bit more diffused. So what I do is I just take that global blend. I'll put it like 14, 15, sometimes 50%. It gets a bit darker, but it does help soften out some of the harshness I find in my images. Now, again, these are steps you don't need to do. This is just stuff that I like and it looks kind of cool. And then I'll add a little film grain. And like, I can get away with that being the grade. I can make a couple tweaks to the exposure and run it that way. But even that, like, I don't necessarily think everything to be super evenly lit. I'm trying to play off the light that's on that window right over here and make it a little bit of a darker type of image. If you want to bring things up and down, you can always go back to the HDR node and you can adjust things the way that you want it to because there's so much dynamic range. But this for me as a color image looks really nice. And then, and sorry, so some of you guys are wondering what that sound is in the background. I'm on a treadmill, so it's what a treadmill sounds like. Now, what I'm trying to do here, try to figure this out, is this thing. Hang on a second. That's black and white. And you guys let me know, like, this looks great in color, but also, like, I'm going to let this play out in black and white, and this looks really dope. And I think the secret about black and white that I'm kind of learning is that you almost have to do it in color first and get things to look good as a colored image and then black and white it. But it's not as much as just, like, taking down your saturation all the way. So I'm going to try to get into here. Like what I did here is obviously I took my highlights all the way down. Because I'm working in black and white, it doesn't look as weird. Shadows I lifted just a little bit because it does look really dark. And then I brought up my contrast just a bit. And obviously saturation's at 0. But I don't know if anyone has any tips to make those black and white images look even better. Yeah, beeping noise, treadmill. What size proxies am I using? Greg, guess what? No proxies. That was just me playing it. And it like, when I'm not screen sharing on Ecamm, plays back pretty smooth. I'll just take my, you could change the playback resolution down to a quarter, which will play at about like 4K. Yeah, black and white looks great. Yeah, and one of the things I'm having trouble with, Donovan, is like, I don't know if black and white is how I want to put the final in, or I want to leave it in color, because some of the colors look really, really good. So like, I'm going to just copy and paste this over top of this. So like, if I want to go back into here, like, that looks great right off rip. I think maybe if I turn down the glow node, and let me see if I can get into the raw tab into here too. And like, I bring this up, I like, I don't know, stop. But then I turn my highlight roll off. Like, that image still has potential. It doesn't look like a perfectly just like desaturated image. It still has like a ton of contrast to it. And I got to do a little bit more tweaking in here if I want to, like, maybe like I'll go to my HDR, see what that looks like off. It actually looks better off. Like, that looks super, super solid. But also at the same time, like, I like it in color. Like, if I want to just kind of, if I want to go back in color, like, that looks great too. And one of the struggles I'm having with this particular piece is I don't know which one looks better. Yeah, like, it's tough. That one's tough. And like, the video I have for this is mostly how to shoot with one camera and one lens, because I shot everything on the Blazeout Rema 65 and the Ursa Cine 12. Sorry, the Pyxis 12K. And the idea is like, it was impromptu, probably going to be a cheesy voiceover, some cinematic music, you know, the usual, and then I want to do some other stuff. But yeah, I'm kind of struggling with how I want to grade certain things and do it that way. Paradigm, thanks, man. I also got, I'm almost done the GFX 100 video, which mostly is a photo dump, to be honest with you. Like, it's mostly, it's an over glorified photo album.
Some cameras feel like home.
It looks cool. Like, it looks dope.
Now, I know whenever you're going to travel and capture the environment, you want to make yourself stealthy.
Like, a lot of this looks fun. I caught a lot of photos that I'm super excited about, that I'm happy for. I don't know how the audience is going to take a lot of this stuff. And truthfully, I don't really care. And what I want to do with like some of these times I travel is I want to take a camera, like completely empty the clip, like fill up the entire card, and then just have like these kind of photo dumps. Because like most of this, if you're looking at the timeline right now, the vast majority of this are just photos. Now, the hard part with that is like some of these JPEGs don't translate well once they get on Resolve. And some of them do look really cool. Sorry, I was burping at the same time. But all of this is all in the GFX 100 Mark II. We also did a creator meetup with a portrait session with a bunch of models and stuff too. And it's super weird because the image on the screen here does not look like how it does in my timeline, which is very odd. But I think it's because I'm screen sharing. But like stuff like this is all in Ghana. This isn't mud huts and lions running up and down the street and all of the stereotypes that you hear when people go to that part of the world. All of these things are what I want to put in this GFX video. And we also brought back the word of the day. Yeah, black and white can be nice. Sparingly use accent. Yeah, that's true. Sorry, someone who lives in a similar climate to Ghana, Nigeria, I'm curious how the grade is going to look when you're done. Would your looks look usable in setting like ours? Yeah, I'm sure. Like, Nigeria and Ghana are almost beside each other. I mean, the only thing that separates them is Cote d'Ivoire, which I'm assuming the climate, the colors, and a lot of the same things are very close to the same thing. I would venture to say they should, but also cool thing that's probably going to happen, Nikon ZR video, because I think more people have the ZR than they do have the Pyxis 12K. I'll have I have my pounded Yamlet, and then I also have the power grade for it. So if you need to make those tweaks, I'm trying to build out a full power grade where you could use it as a starting point and then like backwards engineer things to your situation. So that's pretty much done, but that won't come out until mid-February because the first video in this kind of series is the GFX 102. The second one is this bad boy, the Osmo Action 6, which was a fun video, very vloggy. I got launched off an ATV, which you will probably see. And then I got 2 ZR videos technically. No, 1 ZR video, one of the Pyxis 12K. And then I'll do like one more video there. Wait, what did you shoot those photos on? So I shot those photos all on the Fuji GFX 100 Mark II and a combination of the 23mm f4 and the 55mm f1.7. And they like those were JPEGs that were put on a DaVinci Resolve timeline, so they look kind of wonky. But when I look at them like on my timeline, what it's gonna look like when it's finally edited, they look. I'm biased, but I think they look good. What do we have for steps? We're only at 30 minutes. Honestly, I committed to almost like I might be on here for an hour and a half longer. No, I'm at 3,500 steps, so I need about an hour almost, a little more than an hour. Damn, Fuji's JPEG's undefeated. Yes, and I like that system for travel because sometimes, like, especially when I went to Ghana, like there were so many times I shot photos every day where I didn't want to sit on Capture One every night and be like, okay, let me cull and edit these. I'm like, no, let me just put the JPEGs on my camera or on my phone and just let it fly. Also, silly question for you guys, but I'm starting a new, not a new series, but like a new content format because they're fun. But it's about the parallels between Hollywood and anime. Because there's about like, honestly, there's like 50, 60 instances where like Hollywood steals from anime or vice versa. I don't know if you saw them that I posted on my IG, but I found a bunch of different things that there's very big parallels between the two. And I started doing them on Instagram. Afraid of commitment? No, not even close. I will commit to whoever wants to commit to me. And considering camera brands don't commit to people, I'm going to play my field. I'd love to see the power grade. I've always been skeptical with using LUT and grades because I felt like it didn't trans well enough. Well, the hard part with LUT is that there's only so much footage you could test it on, and sometimes that footage isn't every single person's in like every single person's environments. And also sometimes it's like user error. Like sometimes I might have a little wrong like white balance. And if I don't have the right white balance, like no matter what LUT you use, it might look off. Donovan, you're a better man than me because for financial reasons, I keep Instagram. Because when brands don't have budgets, I kind of just default to Instagram. It's the easiest way to still work with the brand and not have to make a full YouTube video sometimes. But yeah, that was a color grading workflow for the Pyxis 12K. There's still some things I got to figure out with this GFX video because sometimes the white balance and the color looks a little bit off in these JPEGs. Like, I'll give you an example. I'll show you a photo that like a wide shot I really like, but I got to figure out how to do it. And it's this guy. So this is called the Makala Market in Accra. Now, this is actually when it's not that busy. We kind of got there at the beginning. But the hard part with this one is the white balance looks a little bit off whenever I put it on Resolve, but looks great when I put it on Capture One. So I'm trying to figure out how to make sure like these colors look a little bit better, as well as here. We were at a beach club kind of resort thing, and I was trying to figure out like how to make these colors look a little bit better because they don't translate well to being on JPEGs. Also, for people that think that Africa's just zoo animals running around, we did see baboons on the street. But that's also because we were across the street from a baboon sanctuary. So if you want to see animals in Africa, Go to zoos. You'll find them there. This is also, we stayed in a resort in a place called a Kosombo, which is like 2 hours away from Accra. That is a gigantic bridge. We actually took a speedboat all across this. And I may have some drone, I may have a drone video. I haven't made a lot of drone videos on stuff. So I have a drone video on taking it across this. We stayed here for a couple days. Really, really dope spot. Like, I'm trying to see if I can find the house. Where's the house? That's the staircase. Let me see if I can find the house that we stayed at. And it was like, for what it was, like, it's right here. No, hang on. Like, that's where I stayed. Like, I stayed here for a couple days. And it wasn't, I mean, it was expensive, but it wasn't as bad. But like, this is on top of a mountain, essentially. Like, this is the same place, overlooking a Kosombo. And now a Kosombo has something called the Kosombo Dam, which is the way that you power most of the country. But it's stuff like this that like you just don't really see when people say like, I went to Africa. They'll go like, here's zoo animals and kids without shoes. And I'm like, nah, let me show you like some of that stuff. Did you get jollof rice? I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, part of the reason why I'm on this treadmill is because I had jollof rice every day for like 3 weeks. But also, I think I ate so much jollof rice that like, I don't think I want to see any for a while. I'm getting a little bit of sweat. But yeah, well, I've eaten enough jollof rice for a lifetime, and you can see it like right under here. I got a little like, I got a little meat under here. That's also because the camera's pointed at up angle, but like whatever. So yes, I did have rice. I enjoyed myself. Maybe too much. Holy crap, is this like a live streamy day or what? Hey, are we complaining? It's a great day. It's a great day to be able to walk with my 2 feet in a heartbeat and have a little live stream, bro. But also because like, I'm only at, how many steps am I at now? 4,000. I need 6,000 more steps or I can't get off this. So we're in it. We're in it to win it for a while. Also because we're getting about 3 feet of snow. I can't drive to the gym. Even with my winter tires, man, like Toronto drivers are too bad. See, yeah, so Donovan, this is what I'm talking about. And it was like, it gets annoying for me too, because brands will send creators to go and shoot that stuff too. And my whole message in the GFX video is like, first of all, don't do that. But secondly, like, if you do that, at least hire the people that live there, because there are some talented creators in Ghana. Like, I was talking to one DP, Kwame Black. Shout out to him. And like, I remember we had a big creator meetup that I organized where we were in Accra with Flow Shop. And like me, my dumb ignorant ass was like, oh man, like this is kind of gear I'm looking for. Like, hey, do you have like lights and stands? He's like, yeah, no, I have a 4-ton. And I'm like, a 4-ton grip truck? And he's like, yeah, man, I own a 4-ton grip truck. We get whatever you want. My guy pulls up with this like big production truck, a big 4-ton, all the fixings that you would find anywhere in Hollywood. And then I started digging a little bit into his portfolio. I'm like, oh, this guy's it's no different than Hollywood. It's just less access to stuff and less people. I just hopped on. No, I still feel good about the Pyxis 12K. I feel like I got the only good one at launch because everyone else like banding. I'm having banding issues, and I'm like, never. I can't see it, and if I can't see it, I don't care, and I still have not set to see it. So, God, I hate having this up angle. Like my face is just not whatever. Doing the cardio, getting it out of the way. Mickey came back. But yeah, no, I'm tired of like brands keep saying like brands keep doing campaigns in Africa, not sending Africans, and then you get the most stereotypical version. And my thought process is like, if I went to California, went to Skid Row and been like, that's Hollywood, you'd be like, oh, that's not necessarily accurate. And people do the same thing in Africa. And I hate it. I would love to film African wildlife. That'd be a dream gig. You know, you could see African wildlife at the zoo. No, I'm just kidding. But like, the wildlife part is cool. But I think I like capturing the coolest parts as if I went to any other country while being there. I want to do that, but in the U.S., the same way white people do it. Yeah, that actually would be really funny. I'm not gonna lie. I picked the ZR. Oh, thanks, man. I still like mine. I actually used the Pyxis for 2 shoots, the ZR for pretty much everything else, and took mostly photos in the GFX 100 too. Yeah, they always hire locals in Europe and Asia. Yeah, and that doesn't make a lot of sense. Like when you go to Africa, like as I'll ask too. Like we had a creators meetup where, oh, my audio skipped. Can you guys still hear me now? Hopefully it didn't skip. But what's it called? They do always send other people there. Sorry, this whirring on this thing is not great. Mind you, I got like a $200 treadmill on Amazon. But yeah, they always seem to send locals when it's other countries. But when it's anywhere in Africa, they'll send a American over there, send a European, and then they'll get Kenyan runners. And I'm like, God, there's so much more to pretty much everywhere than that. So let's like not do that. But I think what my idea is not necessarily for brands to be like, oh, we'll send Kofi next. I'm like, no. Let me put you on to the people that actually live there and have them tell those stories, because obviously it's theirs. It's not mine. I'm diaspora, right? Like I didn't have a lot of photos of like the local everyday life in some of the villages and some of the smaller towns, because like I didn't stay there. And it felt super inauthentic and fake for me to get someone to take me through the towns just to like throw my camera in front of their faces all the time. So there's very little of that. But yeah, when I went to a beach club, damn straight, when I want to take pictures of like guys at the beach club that want to get you on their horses, abso-friggin-lutely. But yeah, everything else now. I didn't see my banding either at first until I conducted a test. In any event, mine was recalibrated, super clean, match mirror perfectly. I've had mine since launch, and I haven't had problems. And I'm sure like if I put it through the extremes, probably, but like if that's all of when I see it, and worst case scenario, I'll just do what everybody else and get it recalibrated. Am I biking? No, but I am on a treadmill. I'm on a little treadmill underneath my desk. You get it for cheap on Amazon. Links in the description. Oh, sounds okay here. So I think Miggy, your audio is the only one that skipped. But I guess as one of the only people that have a Pyxis 12K, does anyone else have questions? Because the more I use it, and I still have an Ursa, and I'm not going to sell it. I'm going to keep the Ursa. It'll be a rental camera, and I think it'll do well. Like I want another one. I'm not going to lie. Especially if I have to double shoot something, I would like if like my second had one, or even better. And I don't know if I'm going to revamp this office at all, but I'd love the idea of like putting another one in front of the desk. My flex is my Blackmagic has autofocus. I'm heavily thinking about, you know what? Good call. A money-saving way if you want to have Blackmagic color science and still do this. The Cinema Camera 6K has the same sensor as a Pyxis and has autofocus. How bad is the battery life on the 12K? It mogs batteries pretty hard. I'll have like on a 100 watt, I'll get exactly an hour. And then if you get like 150, you'll get an hour and a half, and so on and so forth. I'm using core batteries roughly 3 or 4 hours. Depends on how big are your core batteries. Do I use BPUs or V-mount? I use BPUs on the Pyxis. So how often are you shooting with solo versus whole crew? The BM camera lineup really could use a crew. 80-20. The 12, I think he's talking about the 12K NM. I'd say 80-20. Mind you, I think that's going to be less this year, just based on the projects that I do have. A lot of them's travel. A lot of it's travel documentary, run and gun stuff. So the Ursa, I gotta cover 13 provinces and territories. The Ursa, I think, might only get used at like 3 of them. The Pyxis will probably get used at every single other one, unless there's some sort of factor where they're not, because some of these films are getting sponsored by the camera brand. So unless there's a camera brand sponsor, I'll probably shoot on the Pyxis. Where are we at now? Oh, we're at almost at an hour. I wonder how. I guess the level is actually pretty loud in terms of the treadmill, but what is it? It is. Hey, the chef gal. What's going on? Haven't seen you since Condo. You might be new to this, but we are doing the treadmill stream where basically we talk some stuff. I mandatorily have to get 10,000 steps at least before I can get off the stream. And we're just talking. We're talking Pyxis 12K and GFX 102. Particularly, I was shooting on my trip in Accra in Ghana, and I have a couple of videos coming up. Ooh, for a relatively virgin anime watcher, which is a hilarious way of putting it, where should they start? Dragon Ball Z or One Piece? Neither. Because you don't even know if you like anime yet. So, like, Dragon Ball Z's got, like, 300-ish episodes, I think. Maybe less, maybe a couple hundred. One Piece has, like, over 1,200. So, I would say start with something a little smaller, which could be... I'm trying to think. What's like a short series? I'm trying to think what's a short series. If anyone has like a short anime series, like 3 seasons, 20 episodes each, like that'd be... Yeah, One Piece for life, because that's how long it takes you to finish One Piece, your life. That shit's the longest anime. Like, it's one of the longest animes. Yes, Full Metal. Okay, Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist, I think, would be a good way to get into anime. Also depends on like your penchant for like really dark themes, because Full Metal can get pretty dark. How many cases and luggages did you have to bring? I brought a backpack carry-on that had my gear in it, and then I think I had 2 checked. So I maxed out. I maxed out because I also had to have like 2 weeks of clothes and all the other stuff, and I also had to have enough space when I came back if I wanted to bring anything back home. Not all of that was gear, though. Solo leveling's good. I would even try like Windbreaker, because the whole plot is very simple. It's just left, right, good night. Ooh, Wyatt with the FLCL Fooly Cooly. That's a deep cut, and most people don't know that. Greg, take a look at the comments, because like they actually got some good recommendation. Are you 100%, or do you shoot any film, still pictures, or moving pictures? If what? Courtney, I need you to ask that one again. Are you 100%, or do you shoot any film, still pictures, or moving pictures? Samurai Champloo's dope. Freerun at Journey's End is great if you're a fan of Lord of the Rings. I feel like Freerun makes a lot of sense. I've shot events with boxing. Pyxis solo. Doesn't need any crew. Plus, go can bench press Thanos. That's funny. I've actually shot a lot of boxing on the Pyxis as well. Hunter x Hunter. Did they finish Hunter x Hunter? Or like, is it back now? Nah, it takes you 5 months to catch up. Yeah, One Piece is too much. Brotherhood is good. Okay, so Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, not the original. One Punch Man, just season 1. That's fair. Not slideshow, the anime. Actually, for the World Cup, Blue Lock is great. The name of that film is Mercy. You got FLCL. Oh, you got Brotherhood tattooed. I thought you got FLCL tattooed. I'm like, that's wild, and also so dope. Shinichiro Watanabe all day. Yep. 100% digital. Film is expensive, and I don't care enough to shoot film. Do you prefer shooting manual over autofocus? For me, I rely on autofocus as a solo shooter, doing camera, lighting, and audio. Depends on what I'm shooting. Most of the time, I'm okay with manual. I've become pretty proficient at it, but like if I'm shooting something like an event, I'll use autofocus, because like my caring about like event coverage, is less so than the image quality itself. So like when I use manual focus lenses, they're usually nicer lenses. Also, I'm starting to realize how loud this treadmill is, and it's starting to bug me. But the show must go on. But I will use manual most of the time because a lot of like this year, I don't have a lot of client stuff, so I don't really care about autofocus. But yeah, Mercy looks good. I might have to do a video on Mercy for February, especially because I have the Ursa Cine 12K. I wish I knew what was missing. I've never used autofocus. I had Sony for a long time, so I use autofocus quite a bit. Yeah, shooting film, like I understand people love the process of it, but it's just too many steps, and I like once I shoot something, I'm like, I know I got to get to work on that right away. So I'm sure maybe one day if I have time and resources, shooting film won't be a problem, but for now, not my thing. You ever use Nikon Z6 III for video? I did. I made a video on it a year ago, and then I got a lot of anxieties around how many cameras were in the house, and I sold it. Not because it was bad. It was just like there's too much stuff in my house. And in the rotation of things I was doing, I was like, someone else will get more use out of this than I will, so I ended up getting rid of it. And in a way, kind of the ZF as well, because originally I wasn't supposed to get the ZF, so I got the 50R, and then somehow I ended up getting the ZF, and then I had both, and I'm like, well, I got to pick one of them. And then I'm picking the 50R. You know what I just realized? When I'm standing straight up, you can hear a little bit of the whirring. Now if I go here, not that bad. Imagine being one of the film crew that covered Alex Honnold's and the Taipei 101 free climb. They're hanging off cranes filming 400 plus meters off the ground. Yeah, that was nuts to watch. That was insane to watch. The entire film was shot on the Ursa Cine 12K and Tribe 7 lenses. Who DP'd that? Because I think, is that not the one that Greg Fraser was working on? Because I know Greg Fraser's working on a something that ended up on, I want to say HBO, but he was working on something. Hang on, all cast and crew. Let's see here, director, writer. No, give me the cinematography. Producers, no. Cinematographer. Oh, so it wasn't him. It was a DP from, what's he on? Mercy. Nothing that I'm familiar with. I haven't seen him work on anything I'm familiar with, the DP for this, but understandable. I shoot both, but more towards digital. But I grew up shooting film. It's the only thing you could shoot. I just fell in love with it. I can't leave completely. Yeah, that's fair. I didn't start shooting in general till like 2017, 2018. So film wasn't even like a thing for me. The only reason I've ever used autofocus because my college professor, CSC, traumatized when I brought it up. I'm pretty sure it's all different. Yeah. But like, one, back then, autofocus wasn't great. And two, it's like, I find this in the artistic space too. Like, if there's any new technologies that help make things easier, everyone that didn't have it is like, nope, never use it. Don't do it. It's terrible. And I'm like, that's not fair. That's not fair. Because by that logic, we should still be using horse and buggy. We are at almost 60 minutes on this. Don't Mercy DP. Yeah, you know what? I don't think I'm going to do that. That sounds like it's a terrible idea. That sounds like a recipe for disaster. Okay. What are our steps at? Guys, I need 4,000 more steps. 4,371 to be exact. Too late. That's funny. Another thing I want to talk about on here, I don't know if you guys are interested in it, but I have a channel Discord, If you guys are interested in being on the channel Discord, leave a thumbs up because I could put that in the description. Basically, what I want to do is I want to kind of have that as kind of be like the channel community. Also, where I could bounce ideas off people. Like today, where I was talking about like channel direction and stuff. There's like previews of videos that I put up in the channel Discord. If something interesting that I hear comes about that I won't get sued for, that goes up in the channel Discord. But if you guys want the link to that, I will put that in the description. How would describe Roger Deacon's style? However he describes it, man. I think it's just nice. I don't have a ton of language for describing people's stuff. I just like if it's good or bad, and I'll tell you specifically what I like. I like that it looks good. It looks natural. Favorite location you visited in Ghana? Akosombo. I would do that. Akosombo in the dam, the resort, I would do that 10 times over. Okay, perfect. So what I'll do is, let me see if I can do it right now. Because I'm close enough to my computer, or to my keyboard. Now I have tried AI for VFX and set extensions. Do not believe creative partners. It's a whole lie. I'm half in, half out. Because I mean, like, there's three potential futures for this one. Like, one, if it's not easy to do, that's kind of a saving grace if you think about it. Like, that does mean it's going to be harder for the thing that we're afraid of to actually happen. Two, I thought we all knew, like, I kind of thought we all knew that it was, like, you can't really one-click everything. At least when I tried it out, like, I did a dedicated video trying to, like, AI prompt things, and I'm like, see, first of all, your first iterations don't look great, but it does take a lot of time because I've seen what people can do with it, and I wouldn't be inclined to say that it's necessarily a lie. It just like it takes a lot of finesse to get something good, which in retrospect is kind of a good thing. If you think about the whole like we're afraid of AI just like easily taking everybody's jobs, the fact that it is difficult to get like a one-touch polished result kind of makes things feel better a little bit in a weird roundabout way. But also, I don't necessarily think the sell was that it was a one-click solution to everything, and I hope nobody portrayed it as that. Sorry, I'm just making a link for the Discord right now. Favorite non-jollof food you tried in Ghana? Oh, bro, you've never tried kelewele. Kelewele is basically fried plantain, but it's seasoned. So it's really good. So, okay, so I got my Discord open. Creative Nephews is open. And invite to the server. There we go. All right, so it should be saved and good to go now. So if you guys do want to check out the Discord, the link is in the description. Any worry about the humidity heat on your lenses, camera equipment during the trip? Yes. So I never actually mentioned this before, but something you learn the hard way is that when you are in a hotel room with AC in it, and then you go outside where it's super hot out, I did get a lot of condensation, which was a bit of a stress. It didn't damage anything, so yeah, so that was kind of tough. It was a Sony Venice 2 as the main camera. No Ursa Sony 12K BTS. Well, that's weird because it's on IMDb. It 1000% says Ursa Cine 12K. So yeah, Greg's right. Listen to Greg. Greg's a good guy. I can explain why it's logical. One, it only gives you 10 credits, 10-second clips. Two, you'll have to stitch clips together. And three, good luck getting the prompts right. Lose credits before it works out. Yeah, like this is something that I learned from like AI generative video, and what also makes me like not necessarily worried about AI generated video is because it's harder to do, and most people won't like the most people aren't going to go through like the process of learning prompts and stuff like that, which means that less people are going to figure out how to like do the crazy stuff on AI. Because I like I've seen like I've talked to some people that are like in post production houses and stuff like that that use Artlist or use Higgsfield, and they can make crazy stuff, but they're also really really good at prompt writing. Lies $2. I can't give you $2, bro. I knew you could be. That's fair. Can't find the link. Yeah, you might if you want to see the link, you have to you got to refresh. Are you ready to go to none of February? What bet did you lose? I didn't lose any bet, but I'm getting paid pretty well to shoot this documentary, so I'm gonna just rock it. At a broadcast, I think AI will help other creators that lack money to buy something like equipment and ability to see the project all the way through. Hopefully, more people get noticed, better stories being told. I think that's what's going to end up happening. I think like right after all the dust settles, I think we're going to have better, hopefully better conversations around AI, and then we'll have better education around it. And then it'll just become the battle of ideas with a lot less like stuff in the middle. And yes, there's going to be people that are going to use AI to do the things we're all kind of afraid of it doing. And those people will exist, and we'll call those people losers. But then there'll be people on the other end that I think will be somewhat helpful. Yes, absolutely. There are stuff like that. Honestly, even if you use like GPT-4, it'll walk you through node trees on DaVinci Resolve, which is kind of interesting. Not perfectly, but it actually did a pretty good job of like replicating a. I asked it to help me out to replicate a node tree structure for the Fujifilm classic negative look, and it did a pretty good job. But like, it didn't just spit it out a let for me. It actually like said, like, hey, on this node, do this. On this, it was like a tutorial, which is kind of interesting. On your 12K, maybe I missed a video. Which media module did you go with? I have a CF Express Type B. The one I rented earlier was an 8 TB module, and I found that was a little bit much. It was a headache. But yeah, I used the. Sorry, someone just messaged me and I didn't know who it was. I used the terabyte module. Oh, sorry, the CF Express Type B. Most of it, I subscribed to most. Say it does. Nah, I like. Again, there's people that I know that like are paying people for some of these platforms, and they just learned how to like. They're really really good at prompting and getting it consistent. But it's like, I guess it's kind of like when you buy a camera, right? Like, and again, I'm not necessarily saying like it sucks that it's not working out for you, but it's kind of like when you buy a camera and you're like, oh, this is gonna make everything I do look way better, and you're like, oh wait, no, I still gotta like do all this other stuff. The people I'm talking about aren't partners with the AI companies. They're like independent like they're editors in the industry that don't like have like pay partnerships and stuff. But yes, you will have to spend a lot of money prompting to get things good, which again, if you think about it, kind of a good thing. Wyatt, no, I use space transforms. It's a little easier for me. I prefer doing it that way. So, and there's no particular reason. I'm used to it, and like I've become proficient enough at Resolve that I don't necessarily need it to be color managed for me. So yes, however, that 8 TB module can't be used anywhere else. That's the hard part. So like, if I want to use my CF Express Type B cards and anything else, like say I don't have my Ursa today, then say like I don't use my Ursa, but I want to use my Pyxis, I'll just use the same cards on the Ursa on the Pyxis. So that's where I'm like, I'm okay with it. So weird thought. Do you have to use AI to create an adequate proper copy? Some people do that, and it like in some cases it actually does pretty well. Well, it's different than generating code because you're using a parallel. Sure. I'm not sure what this is a reference to. The biggest issue I have with AI is the data centers they put to run it. The power and water is astronomical. Sound pollution is terrible. Yes, I agree with that, and I still think that like, despite AI probably going to be a tool that's going to get used a lot in the future, it still needs regulation, moderation, education, and identification. So we still need to regulate it. We still need to regulate how much people can use energy-wise, which actually means like the credits are going to be more expensive, which actually means inherently it'll be moderated. And then there needs to be better identification for what AI is and what AI isn't. And then we need better education in terms of how we use the thing, what the thing is for, and also how to figure out when not to use a thing. Guys, let's see our step count. Okay, need 3,000 more, or 3,300 more. There's a guy hawking AI course on Insta. I stole his exact prompt and generated it slightly differently. And he's hawking a course, same exact prompt. I take that up with, like, again, I'm not saying those things are invalid, but I'm also saying there are people that are using those tools and they're getting it consistent. That might be a thing you gotta take up with the guy. That being said, again, if it's hard to use but can yield a big result, well, then it's hard to use, which means that, like, yeah, we don't have to worry about the aliens taking over the whole world. I bought two ODC 2TB V4 cards for my ZRs, like 500 each in November. Now they're running at 927. That's nuts. Also, I am sweating because I'm also wearing a sweater and it's 80 degrees in this room. And if the 8TB, yeah, it is hard to replace if the 8TB module dies. Yes. No, I agree with that. I don't necessarily. I agree with the regulation of how they build AI centers the same way I think car emissions aren't the greatest in mass. How did I to block ever comment? I don't need AI to block every commenter that brings up AI. You got this. That's funny. I don't know. I only bring it up because, like, we're going to have to figure it out. I just ask for script writing, ask for review checklist. I add my raw inputs and subjective opinions. I've trained silent mics. Mine helps out with, like, YouTube. Like, sometimes I'll have so many things going on in my brain, and I'm like, hey, I need someone that isn't going to project themselves onto me to help me organize these ideas. Like the GFX video, like I had a bunch of shit that I wanted to do, and I'm like, okay, how do I consolidate all this? But if I ask like another creator, they'll just tell me what they would do, and I'm like, well, I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for what I would do, and but it's just where I would do is all over the place. Absolutely, I fully agree with you. But like every single company that's even companies that aren't AI aren't doing it for us either. Like you think Sony makes cameras for creators? No, they don't. They make cameras for their profit margin. Like again, like I'm trying to stay away from the AI stuff today. I've talked about it enough. But yes, these AI companies are functioning exactly the same as every other multi-billion-dollar company. They don't give a shit about us. It's no different, really. They're gonna, like every other massive company, lays off a bunch of people, doesn't give a crap about the people that they do work with, are willing to jack up the price at any given time, and the environment be damned. That's not like AI didn't introduce that. That's been the meta for a long time. It's estimated AI data centers in Wisconsin will use more energy than all residential homes in the state by. Oh, that's insane. Yeah, so they need, like, again, this is where like there desperately needs to be some sort of intervention that prevents that from happening. Because like, what happens at 2056? How it fix the Terminator franchise? It actually has some solid ideas. Storyline. That's interesting. Like the things people ask it are interesting. It's crazy and freeze. Yeah, RAM prices are going up crazy. Also agree Again, trying to get away from the AI thing. That is every single billion-dollar company ever. Amazon does the same thing. Most media companies try to sell you on a dream too. Even camera manufacturers do the same thing. But at the same time, it's going to be a tool that's going to be universal use. So we may as well figure out what it does and how to use it. Not my favorite. And if it goes away tomorrow, excellent. But that's where we're at. Honestly, I'm very happy that I picked up a lot of SSDs at Black Friday because this is where we're at now. Or you buy hard drive secondhand. Secondhand hard drive sales are going to go crazy, which is super annoying. That's a price in US. That's USD. $9.25 USD. That's gross. Smart. Eventually, we're gonna have like AI only laptops at some point that'll like Starlink to the internet or something crazy. Okay, I wonder if I turn this down if the sound will stop. This thing got a little bit less quieter. We're almost at 10,000 steps, by the way. What's our timing at? Yeah, we should get there by hour and a half. Absolutely. I feel like if you tried your best too, you could probably like try to get bulk deals at media outlets, like if you needed cards or anything like that. Or it's a great opportunity for companies like Angelbird and shit like that to like sell you on like, hey, get like a 10 card pack. What a pen and paper. Hey, let's go. Oh, they're getting announced next week? Shit. I didn't know it's next week. I am in the market for a new MacBook. Gamers think the plot surprise come out. People have to rent processing power from data centers. That's shitty. And like a possible real reality, but still shitty. We're not in the greatest timeline. I like to think about I'm trying to think about the positive side of things because I mean all of us have 2 feet, a heartbeat. We're all still able to create stuff. Whether AI exists or not, we're all still able to create stuff. We're still able to impact others, we're still able to create an audience. But at the same time, all the stuff around me is like, oh great, another thing. It's something that's gonna suck to adapt to, but I'm like, I guess you gotta just you ball like the fuck it we ball. I think it was what the kids say. Like, because again, like I've gone the option of like being upset, um, and it didn't solve anything. So I'm like, cool. I guess we figure like I don't know. You play the game, you play your oppressor's game and try to win. Because not playing, clearly nothing happens. Double incentive for you if you don't like those in chat. No, me and NM are good. Gave me the full $2. Yes, I give it to you in Canadian. I just watched Johnny Mnemonic, 995 flick, the data courier with 160 gigabytes of space on his head and overloaded at 320 gigabyte. Imagine thinking that would have been enough. Matt, remember the time where we're like 1 gigabyte USB sticks were a thing? It was like, oh, this is 1 gigabyte, and it was like $99.99, or like 32 gigabyte SD cards existed. Remember that? That's like $2 now. It went from 40 to 29, and I think because a lot of people want to see more Pyxis stuff. During COVID-19, we started using a cloud-hosted video editor. You can edit it on a Chromebook. Oh, I have seen that stuff before too. And I wonder if you could edit 12K on that. Hey, we're almost at an hour and a half, guys. On the treadmill, at least. We are very close. Why does everything have to have a screen these days? Sometimes we'd be off just having devices that simple. I mean, you can still buy them. Like, okay, what things do you think shouldn't have a screen? And can you still buy them today? The computer companies want us to lease our computers and computer power from them. This whole subscription model is also 100% control over it. Yeah. Absolutely not. No, I will be a positive person through and through, and you can't take that away from me because I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I'll make some content tomorrow. And there's nothing, not one motherfucker can do to stop me. I mean, there's a couple things you could do to stop me, but like realistically, there's nothing anyone's going to do that's going to stop me from doing that. So, yeah, as long as I'm still able to make stuff, whether it's a live stream with 30 people or a live stream with 100 people, I'm still here. And you can't stop me from doing that shit. Oh, you just noticed these guys? Yeah, I bought these a little while ago. And what's funny about this is like I only originally had one, and then I lost it. So I bought another one, and I lost that. And then I found the other two when I bought the third one. So I figured, let's do this. Cars for one. It's hard to find one without a computer that controls everything. Fair enough. You could buy a car without a computer, though. Why does your fridge have Wi-Fi, and why can't you buy a fridge without Wi-Fi? Why do you have a fridge with Wi-Fi? I'm like, first of all, my fridge does not have Wi-Fi. That's crazy. But I also feel like you could buy fridges without that. Like, I feel like those still exist. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I feel like buying a fridge with Wi-Fi is a pretty deliberate thing. Try this for a flex. Mine has a handle. Okay, I'm going to try to take off the sweater and not fall off the treadmill, but it's also really hot in here. And I still have 1,500 steps left. Okay, we're there. Welcome to my OnlyFans, kids. Wireless fridges is crazy too. Pied Piper is why you need a fridge with Wi-Fi. So you have PiperNet. What's PiperNet? I feel like that's a reference to something that I don't know about. I still have a five, but the big ass hard drives. That's crazy. The floppy disk mounted on my wall. Keep that forever and never let it go because there's kids that have no idea what a floppy disk even is. I watch it give in the dark. The second I give into the dark side of the force, I feel like a lot of you will not like me, and I won't like me because like I could be cynical and negative. I just don't want to. It's a waste of energy. Maybe think of the song "Hot in Here." Y'all are crazy. Who has more Pyxis questions though? Let's stop talking about the doom and gloom of AI. I want to answer more Pyxis stuff because it's a great excuse for me to show more footage. I have a punch card. That's. Do you have a what's it called? A sundial? Tell me you have a sundial too. Mine is a mini fridge. In about 10 minutes, I have completed my walk. There's Anakin. I'm your Palpatine. No, that's not even negativity. I'm just genuinely curious. Why would you put Wi-Fi in your refrigerator? Because, like, also your refrigerator is probably close to a device that already has Wi-Fi in it. Like, why does a fridge need it? Oh, okay. That makes sense. I have not seen Silicon Valley. Also, this has actually been helping a lot. I have severely injured my elbow by getting launched off an ATV in Ghana, which, again, that's a video I'm going to show. What day is February 1st? Because right now, I've been holding back pretty much all my Ghana videos because I wanted to come out during Black History Month. And I feel like January's felt like a 2-month-long process. But what next? Wow, it doesn't even, next Sunday is the 1st of February. And even then, like the week after that, that's when the Action 6 video comes off, and that's when I got launched. Do I have Capture One styles for sale? Donovan, I'm going to be so real with you. I don't know how to make Capture One styles. I'd be doing everything manually, one by one. I was raised like Bane in Lebanon. Was Bane Lebanese? Was that the thing? I actually didn't really keep note of where they raised Bane. I just know that like the backstory, but I didn't know where it was. Internet of Things. I want everything connecting to the internet. Yeah, I don't know why things need screens. I just don't use them if I don't need to. Like if I like, my car has a computer in it, obviously, but like if I know where I'm going, I just don't use it. I kind of forget about it. But yeah, we do kind of live in the Jetsons now, don't we? All right, kids. I'm gonna slow down a bit because almost at 10,000 steps. I'm just shy of 1,000 left. But because the camera is a little bit higher than where the treadmill is, I can't really show you. But we got there. And honestly, these treadmill streams, they're going to be all the time. I might do another one tomorrow. They have apps required for dishwashers. Is this real? Do they actually have apps for dishwashers? I wrote a white paper once, IoT, while in the military. The potential risk it could have for security. How do we just feed everything? See some of the footage. Oh, I've not used Genesis Color yet. Sorry, so this is just going to show you more of my some more of the photos that we got while we were there. Like that's more GFX stuff. That's more 106 stuff. There's one like really dope photo that I think I'm going to post in a set tomorrow to kind of tease the video coming out, but we have a lot of stuff here. I also put in a couple of like Pyxis 12K videos in here. One thing that I did realize though, and like it looks a little bit better now that I look at it a day later, but this, when I first got it, like I'm starting to try these titles. Font looks kind of cool. One other thing I did notice that I didn't necessarily have IR cut ND filters, so the color looked off, and I was like, this doesn't make any sense. The Pyxis looks great. Why is it doing that on my Typoc lenses? And I realized that the true color NDs I have don't have they don't have IR cut, which is tough. But also, this is some video from the GFX
between a hybrid camera. Now it does have a
so that's just like a grade wipe of F-Log 2C. And like it has pretty decent.
Now a lot of people asked about the GFX.
There's still some vignetting that I'm getting out of the ND filter into here. I'm using the Nisi Jet Mags. But this is like on a super wide lens, all the way at max ND. That's on here.
We're going to talk about rolling shutter.
There's another image on it here. This actually looks pretty solid. Like the color out of the GFX, if I want to just kind of put this at like half mast, this looks pretty dope.
Talk about rolling shutter a little bit later.
Nice. One thing I will say though, and I don't know if
digital
you can see
sharpening.
I'm going to fully grade this out. If you're looking at this, like this looks artificially sharp on the skin tones. Like I don't know. I can't even. Can I zoom in on this? Yeah, I can. Like it looks a little bit too sharp when I'm playing this all the way through. I'm going to put up my playback quality to full. And like it doesn't even look like it's just normal sharp. It looks like almost like they put in artificial texture into it, which I couldn't turn on or off while I was on the GFX. But maybe it's just I was using like photo lenses or something like that. But it's something that I did notice, and I'm like, I might need to use like more diffusion filters or more lenses with character in order to get this look a little bit better. Like, and I also noticed that on here. Let me just go on it here. And like the texture on here looks weird because like I don't get this on other cameras. Even if I had brought my S1 too, like I don't think I'd see that much texture and sharpness on here. It was just a weird thing that I noticed while while we were messing around. I also wanted to mention rolling shutter without doing a rolling shutter stupid test. And sometimes when you're on the GFX, because the readout is so slow, when you're shooting at electronic shutter, if you don't stop and let that thing read out, because it is a slower camera, these are some of the wonky images you might get out of the camera. Like it looks super, super strange. Like everything's all distorted and stuff. And it's just because the readout speed is slow. But also, we got some like really dope action shots on it here as well. Autofocus isn't perfect on this, that's for sure. But yeah, that readout speed is not super fast on the 100 too. Oh, the Vinci volume is really high and your voice is too low. Oh, sorry. This is why I'm going up meta, everybody. Let's see some Pyxis stuff. I was using Nisi True Colors when I used the Samara C's, which in retrospect might have been a mistake. I should have used something with IR cut in here. It needs global shutter. The GFX 102 with global shutter would cost like $20,000. So I want to use some of the like the on-body ND filters. The only hard part with that is that they don't have one for M mount, which makes things kind of tough. Hang on 1 second. I'm trying to pull up this one shot, which is really I thought the sequence was dope. But let me see if I can pull this up. Like the hard part with this is that like this has there's no story attached to this, man. Like I just started shooting stuff and I was gonna like I'll figure it out in post later, but like this is one of my favorite shots from this entire kind of little like boxing film thing. Also, this was like a good exercise in like holding a shot, because generally speaking, like 4 seconds ago, maybe 8 seconds ago, I would have probably like the old me would have stopped that already. But letting that play all the way through in case you want to play anything over underneath or over top, really, really nice. And also, I do like I'm going to pause here, and you can actually see that barrel distortion coming out of the Blazar Remus here. But these look super solid. I think one of the things I'm struggling with here is that like black and white shots, like this looks cool. Like this looks cool in black and white. It kind of has that like, because the whites are still a little bit bright, they're not super diffused and calmed down. It kind of has that like Kill Bill Volume 1. I know I just did a reel about that with Jujutsu Kaisen. But it kind of has an interesting look to it with the contrast ratio, even in black and white. I just got to figure out what I got to do with this in terms of black and white. Actually, do you guys think maybe I do the same version in color and then I do another one in black and white? Did I bring a tripod on this trip? I did. I barely used it. Great colors. I'm a sucker for barrel distortion. I am as well. The Remus in some cases on the Pyxis 12K kind of overdoes it a bit, where it almost like creates a little bit of a warpy effect on the ends. But honestly, I figured out you could fix that in post, and that's been kind of cool. Where am I at with steps now? Okay. I'm 150 steps away. We're almost done, kids. But yeah, no. So that was where I'm thinking about this is like, for one, I wanted to do a video on just shooting this with one lens. Like I didn't change lenses that entire time I was shooting. And like we even got some like really cool hero shots on here. Like, let me just see if I can go back into here. Like we got a really, really cool hero shot in here. In fact, I feel like I could fix this just a little bit with a little bit more contrast. Let me just pull that up. Contrast is like, we'll go this way into it. It says I'm at 1600 here. I could probably, I just move this around because my camera's in the way. Like a little bit more contrast into here. I could take this temperature to make it a little bit cooler. And then let me just bring up my midtones just a little bit. And let me see if I can change my tint just a bit. And like, we got some excellent hero shots here, a lot of cool color. I still got to balance this a little bit better. We have another one of the coach on here as well. And again, I might have to change my exposure just a little bit onto this guy.
And then just, yeah.
Like, color out of here looks great. Power windowing on this guy actually would help as well. Also would help as well. Wow, I tried to say too many words at once. But any one of these, like I could have played this in black and white. I could have played this in color and been pretty happy with it. Like that, like look at that. Look at that on the side. That's barrel distortion if I've ever seen one. Like look at that thing completely bows in on both ends. That's a lot of it. It gives it an interesting look, which I like a lot. So sometimes it doesn't work in your favor all the time. This quick hand is covered. Boxing Con met a ton of professionals. I'm covering Shakur TFE at the end of the month. Oh, dope. Then Kofi needs iced coffee or frozen yogurt. Wi-Fi yogurt. I do have Greek yogurt with a little bit of some stuff on there. A little bit of raspberries. Bro, label those notes. Yeah, I usually do, but like I was like honestly, that whole grade was just me experimenting with it, so it's not really the power grade that I built out of that. Actually, random question. I don't know how many people have Pyxis 12Ks, but like after making that video, and I'm gonna try to do is like I could put the power grade in there for anybody that watches that little video if you guys want it. Don't know if that's something you guys are interested in, but if you want to, it's up to you. That being said, hang on a second. Oh. All right, we are at 10,000 steps. And like it's 8:37, so I've hopefully taken more than 0 steps through the day. And I could check on my phone to see if I actually did, because hopefully at the total of my day is a little over 10,000, which I am great with. Again, if you guys want to join the Discord for the channel, the link is in the description down below. Hang on 1 second. Let me check, see how many steps I got. Let me go to health. I want to try to keep this up even during the. I only got like 2,000. Like so, I'm at like 12,000 steps for the whole day, which isn't bad. On 12,000 steps for the whole day. Still got a couple hours to be awake, so I can finish at 15. If I keep that up, which is also nice because these treadmill streams are really easy to do that with. I could stay on here for 2 hours and do this during the wintertime at least, because it's the one time you get super inactive, which also affects your weight gain and loss. Thank you. Yeah, I think that was my favorite shoot on the Pyxis. I think everything else I shot on the Pyxis 12K was mostly like a couple location shots for my GFX video and the Nikon ZR. I shot a skin tones video. Oh, let me see if I could find that. Hang on a second. I'm going to see if I could show you that, because I do a skin tones video every single year. And I want to see if I can find... let me see if I can see what I'm looking for. Let me see if I can find it. If I could find it, it'd be cool. Proxy media generating me clip attributes, relink selected clips. Let's put this on Ghana 2026, Pyxis 12K. Like, hang on a second. Let me see if I can pull up this grade on here. Again, this is more of an experimental grade, which is why I haven't labeled it yet. Like, I know what they are. That's what's important. I know what they are. But let me just like let me deactivate all of these nodes, and I'll show you what I mean. So I have my original LUT that's on here. I also more than likely adjusted some of the exposure stuff on here as well. So yeah, this is at like 4500 Kelvin. This guy's at 200 because I brought down the exposure and pose with the ISO. My color space transform in, going the other way. I also had a power window that's on here, so I could track that power window back and forth, which makes life easy. Brought up some of the probably the midtones into here too. I usually do that because like this information is going to correspond with this, and then use that glow node because I like using that quite a lot. It's kind of like using halation, and then put a little film grain on that. That looks pretty freaking good. Now I could always, because sometimes I get the exposures like a little bit off. If I go to like 400, like that looks a little bit better. And then if I want to add a little more contrast, like I could add like not even like 5%. And then I'll take my white level and just pop that down like a little bit. And that's what that looks like. Like that's how good you can get the Pyxis 12K to look. And this is for a skin tones video that I'm working on because I do one every single year, even if it's the same information. And if I learn something new or I see something, like that's going to be an example of doing that too. What brand of Greek yogurt? I have Oikos. If there's a generic brand that's cheaper, I'll use that too. I'm not really a Greek yogurt snob, to be honest. Yes, please. Okay. Yes, please. The power grade. What did you use to travel with cameras? Do you use bags or hard cases? I have camera cubes and I put them in my regular luggage. I would be cool with doing that. I just don't think it's going to be any of my Ghana stuff. If that, I'm got you. Okay, and I'm got you. I will say I'm going to be selfish with this Ghana footage. Join the channel as a nephew status to incentivize Kofi. I'm gonna redo some of the channel memberships as well. Mostly because I think I'm gonna get away from doing a lot of camera comparison content, which I had a tier where I was giving out that raw footage every month. I'm gonna change it up a little bit and have it a little bit more intuitive and stuff like that. So the skin tone videos by you are very much appreciated. Oh, thank you, man. Sometimes because I'm not like a super expert, I struggle with like whether or not that's the right way of doing things. But it's just the way I like doing stuff, so it helps. Do you like the film look creator note? I actually don't use it that much. And I think just because like I'm pretty I don't know, I guess in some ways I'm set in my ways in terms of like how I grade stuff. So like there's a workflow that I like and I just kind of stick to it. I like the film creator note until I tried Genesis outside of Filmbox Pro. Genesis is amazing. The emulators look tough. I might take a look at Genesis. Where's your CST notes? Let me go back. Let me jump back in and I'll show you. So because I have a RE LUT that I built when the S12, S1R2, and the S12E got RE log C, and I found it easier because I usually will do like a color space transform to RE and then use an RE LUT anyway. So I just built one of my own, and that's on this guy, and that's going to be like that'll change a couple things on it here. My first node, sorry, I didn't label these. Like this isn't necessarily an official like this is a power grade thing. Like I'm just screwing around. This was my node to go from. Actually, did I put this to Black Magic? Oh, it probably explains a lot. Oh, so okay, this is what I did. Sometimes I'll go from Black Magic to DaVinci Resolve Intermediate, then DaVinci Resolve Intermediate to RE Log C. I just went direct into this. I don't know if it's a gigantic difference, but you do it either way. Anyways, Black Magic, Wide Gamut, which is obviously what this is in log, and RE Log C. So this converts RE Log C into a look with Rec 709 conversion in it. So that's why that's at the end instead of this being at the end. Thing is, though, is that before that, you have all of these nodes that are going to go underneath the hood, is what they would call it. And that's where you could start to adjust things before it goes into this kind of, I guess, like thinner part of the pipeline into a finishing node. So usually I like to grade underneath what the finish of the node is. So this was like a Rec 709 or a CST to Rec 709. Everything underneath will non-destructively affect what before it comes out to here. So that's the space transform node. Obviously, I know I didn't label these guys because I just kind of quickly did this quick and dirty because I wanted to just see what it looked like. And then I always have my film grain into here. I will always have, did I film grain twice? No, glow. Sorry, my light and everything's in the way, so I can only see half the screen. So I always have my green and my glow net LUTs in here. I do have a DCTL that I found for free. And this is kind of the same thing as like Color Warper, like this tool over here. It just organizes it in a little bit of an easier way because there's sliders instead of like going on here and doing it. You could do it on either way. This is just an easier way of organizing it. Like DCTLs don't really like reinvent color science. They just reorganize some of the things that are already in here into ways that like are easier to maneuver and figure out and like fine tune. I always have a curves node, and then I made a power window into here. And when you make a power window, like anything in the window is affected by what you do for the rest of it. So like, for example, like, yeah, again, this is going to have that node. I make it like super, super soft. So it doesn't necessarily have a harsh line where you bring up the midtones. And I just wanted to bring up the midtones right in the middle. Like I didn't want to change anything else around. So that's the workflow. Again, this could be way better. That was literally me just like put footage on a timeline. I'm like, let me see what this looks like right away. And that's what we ended up doing. I don't think you need a CS2 node to set the project before you begin. Yes, I just like doing it that way, to be honest with you. You don't have, like, again, you don't have to do it this way. I've been doing it that way. So I'm like, You should make a video on the glow node for unexperienced DaVinci Resolve users unless you already have a section upcoming. I think I do in other DaVinci Resolve color grading videos. Yeah. I think I do. I just like, again, it's just like it's an added, like a lot of these things are like added touches because the color's not like the color almost out of the gate on the Pyxis 12K are so good. I think you can do this in your project settings. I just like doing it on the Pyxis. Like I like doing it this way because I have different types of footage that I work with. So it's easier for me if I like change my mind on how to do stuff that like I could just do it on the node level rather than like put in the project and change my project settings every time. Yeah. So a lot of the reason why I started making skin tone videos is because a lot of the information about exposing 4 skin tones and grading for them only applied a lot to lighter skin. For example, like set your tones to 70 IRE and that'll get you your skin tones. I'm like, cool, but I'm black. Doesn't apply because if I set my skin tones to 70, I've blown out my highlights. So what do you do? And then also like even where like people place key lights and stuff, and even like filtration, and I didn't get to use a lot of filtration because we were outside, but like I made a video on the short stash everyday filter, and I'll show you what I mean by that. But like that's usually what key lights look like on people's faces, especially with darker skin, because it's so bright on here and it sucks on here. So this circular polarizer, I just turn that bad boy this way. This is what my skin looks like. And this is like a filter. You can put it on any lens. I don't know why I sound like this, to be honest with you. Maybe it's because I'm excited or my heart rate's elevated, but yeah. If it looks good, it looks good. I use my sensibilities. Whenever someone tells me my blacks are crushed, I'm like, wake me up when someone notices. Facts. I use the RECST because I have an RE conversion LUT that I use almost on everything. So I just find it easier just to CST it to RE. So have you tried EL zone to get exposure for skin? Not really, because like using zebras in false color, I've been able to like I get it pretty on the nose anyways. So it's kind of like a don't fix it. Like don't what is it? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Sorry, I'm just moving my treadmill off to the side a little bit. Because also I realize I've just been like jamming on my ankles, but oh god, I gotta keep on my cardio. Get this out of the way. What a job of the hut. Yeah, do I only use RECST? Yeah, I usually go to RECST because it's just consistent with like there's a LUT that I built that I don't even remember how I did it, to be honest with you. I've had it for a long time. And because I know that it converts from RElog C3, I'm like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'll stick there. But yeah, guys, we're at about an hour and 45 minutes. I'm cool with answering any last minute questions about pretty much anything. It doesn't have to be about the Pyxis 12K. Before I go, because I went on a 2-hour stream with Talbot, and then I just spent 2 hours with you guys. And also, it looks like I have a brand deal request, and I wonder what it is. If there's no other questions, also, I'm gonna just jump in the Discord because also remember, Discord is open, guys. Links in the description. I think I'm gonna duck out here. I've been on stream for like 4 hours, but thank you guys for coming in. Oh, there's questions now. Go spend time with your GF or call your mom. I did call my mom earlier today. There is a time in I think most people's lives where you got to take care of some people, and yeah, if you see me taking on some sponsors, understand that I'm taking care of some family members. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But did that, and my girlfriend's currently still working for the next 9 minutes, so I can't spend time with her yet because she's too busy for me right now. Is 10-bit footage much easier to edit than 8-bit? I just prefer using it than 8-bit because 8-bit like doesn't look inherently bad if you're very content on how things look and you don't want to change anything about it. It may have a phase detect autofocusing system. I know it can use single shot just like the original Pyxis and the Cinema Camera 6K. Just whether or not it'll be enabled for autofocus, we don't know. Stay warm. Oh, the warm part's easy. It's staying out of the snow. That's a tough part. Yes, and it sticks together. Is it? I feel like every time someone says like 16-bit or 12-bit, like past 10-bit, I'm like, I wouldn't know as long as it looks good. Afro Samurai is I think Afro Samurai is under recognized but properly rated. I've not used it. I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of the stuff I've been shooting the last little bit, I have not used it. Also, because like I literally have been gone for like 5 weeks. Like I was in BC, not working, and then I was in Ghana, not meeting for channel audio. Yeah, so I've heard this before, and I think the same thing happens with ProRes, and I feel like apparently like almost all of the 16-bit RAWs are kind of like funneled into 12-bit, which is fine. But honestly, like it's more than enough color for me at 12. Like even at 16, I'm like that's too much, and I don't think I'm going to notice the difference between like 12 and 16. And if I find out the differences are in like in extreme situations, I'm like, cool, I'll just never find myself in them. Andre, no, I'm not, but I am. I'm going to hop off on it here. It's been 4 hours, so see you guys in the next one. The Discord is inside a link in the description, and I may start like an email newsletter and some stuff. There's other stuff I want to start doing, but maybe I'll talk about that in the treadmill stream tomorrow because I still got to get this cardio done because we are trying to be jacked and snatched in 2026. But I'll see you guys later.